ideas have power. They can have a great deal of power. They have an impact on people. In my experience, powerful ideas leave an indelible mark on people. It changes who they are. It changes who they'll be. It changes what they believe in. And it can even change their perception of their past. That's the power of a strong idea, of a quality idea. And it doesn't matter the medium that you use to convey these ideas. It could be writing a book. It could be starting a business. Whatever medium you use to convey these ideas, even working your job in whatever field you're in, wherever you're an expert, conveying these ideas is really what we do as human beings, is that we convey these ideas to have an impact on others, because they have an impact on us. Now, lots of times the ideas that have an impact on us, we internalize them and they don't go anywhere else. When I first started writing, I was 12 years old, and it didn't start with a pen. It started with my mind. And I loved to read fantasy at the time. I loved to read, and I'd get caught reading The Flashlight many, many times, staying up late, hiding under the covers, and when my parents would go to bed, I'd take the covers off, flip the light on, and keep reading. I loved to read. And my career now is based on a single idea at that time, is that I kind of disliked a certain aspect of the book I was reading, and I wanted to change something. I wanted something different, and so I had an idea. I had an idea for a certain character in a book. And I thought that was cool, and so I thought about it, and then I fell asleep. And so every night, I continued to do this. The next night, I thought about this character, and I liked this idea, and so I kind of expanded on it. And this went on day by day, into weeks, into months, and it soon became years. And this original idea had started to grow and develop. And this was a great way to fall asleep. I fell asleep so fast. It was very relaxing. I know 14-year-old problems are so severe. You know, I mean, the girls that just don't like you and you wish they did, and it's painful. And so I'd think about my book, and I'd go to sleep, and I'd imagine the girl that I wish would like me then. You know, that's what you do. And so these ideas, they just kept growing, and they just kept growing, and plot twists and different characters and backstories and all this world started to become developed. And what's funny is that I wasn't really aware of this. This was just something that I thought about to fall asleep, something I did to relax. And it just kept going. I went to Brazil. I was in Brazil for 2 years. I got a lot of really cool ideas down there, language ideas, different people, different culture. I added to the story. Every experience I had added to these ideas, added to this core idea that just built and built and built. And a few years later, I got married. My incredible wife, I got more ideas from her. One of my characters has certain elements that anyone who knows my wife knows that those elements are tied to her. And one day, my wife, she was a little annoyed with me. That never happens, right? Wives never get annoyed at spouses. And she was annoyed with me because I would climb into bed while she was brushing her teeth, and I would be asleep by the time she got into bed. And she was annoyed with me. She didn't like that. She's like, I don't like climbing into bed and trying to talk to you, and you're out cold. That's not very fun to me. So she asked me, why do you fall asleep so fast? It takes me so long. Why do you fall asleep so fast? And I said, I have my story. I think about this story. And she's like, what story? What are you talking about? She'd never heard this. I mean, we've been married 3 or 4 years at this point. And I was like, oh, it's this story, and it's about so-and-so. And I started telling her this story. And I kept telling her, and I kept telling her. And all of these pieces that had come about over the course of 15 years, I just started telling them all. And the day ended. We went to bed together. I was awake that night. And the next day, I kept going. I kept telling her this story. And this went on for 3 or 4 days that I was telling her this idea that had just grown into something massive for me. And she was like, okay, you need to write this. And I told her, I can't do that. That's not within my ability to write it. I doubted it. I didn't think that I had that skill set. I didn't think I could write. And so I said no. But my wife, being the amazing person that she is, she kept encouraging me and kept pushing me. She's like, look, you really need to write this. It took about a month for me to sit down and write even a little bit. And I started writing some of these ideas down. And I kept going back and having her read it, and she liked it, but of course she's my wife, she's going to like it at that point. And I didn't tell anyone else. My wife was the only person that knew. And this continued. I started writing, I kept writing, I kept writing. I was about 15 chapters in, and I sat back and I looked at this idea that had grown over 15 years, and I'd written a fraction of this idea, just a fraction. And I remember sitting back and just being stunned that I had so much still to write, so much still to do. And that's when that moment, I remember the feeling of the computer chair I was sitting in, and just this, I was looking at the computer screen, and I was just like, wow, I can't believe this. This is nuts. And so I kept writing. I kept writing, and I didn't really have a plan of what to do with the books. I just kept writing. And anyone who reads my books, there's a certain common theme in my books, especially my original trilogy, and that is that every person is important. Every person. That every person can have an impact on the world. In my book, on the battles that occur. Every person is special for different reasons. And sometimes it's not the hero that you think it is. Sometimes it's a mother. Sometimes it's a brother that's taking care of his brother. I mean, it's not always the hero. And that in my book, I actually wrote the main character not as strong on purpose because I wanted the side characters to shine more. I wanted them to shine more. And I still think it's funny when I get bad reviews of people that don't like my main character. It's because they kind of miss the point. I wanted a broad group of side characters because I didn't think that the world is changed by just one individual so easily. You know, it's a group that has this impact. And so I kept writing. I heard about e-publishing. And as I say, you know, that the rest is history. I published my books. And there's nothing better than getting comments from readers that have felt the impact of that idea. Like I said in the beginning, ideas have power. And there's nothing better than taking your idea and seeing that power have an impact in someone else. Seeing that change their lives, seeing them want something more, believe in themselves. And that's really the most impossible thing sometimes for us to believe in is ourselves. And to see your writing have an impact on them, or your job have an impact on someone, or your business, or your home life, whatever it is, to see that impact of your ideas, of your insights, that's what we live for. That's what defines us. That's what makes us happy. That's what brings us joy. I never would have thought that I was a writer. If you had asked me a few years ago if I'd ever write anything, I would have laughed at you. I would have laughed at you. I mean, laughed in your face, because I would have thought it was so absurd that I would ever write something or have a career as a writer. But the idea is really what makes the difference. Now, I would assume that all of you are here because you have an idea of something. It could be an expert thing that you've developed a great deal of knowledge, like Rick talks about. It could be something to do with an idea, a fictional idea. It could be something that you believe in, that you think will help other individuals. It doesn't matter what the idea is. What matters is the medium that you use to convey it and how much passion you use in that medium. I can guarantee that you will be surprised by the impact you will have on other people. It's unfortunate to me that a lot of individuals, they hold back. They reserve ideas because they're afraid. They're afraid of what it will do. They're afraid of being criticized for their ideas. They're afraid of having people dislike them for their ideas. And that's unfortunate, because when we hold back ideas, we fail to have that positive impact on others. We fail to change their lives. I have had my life changed by the ideas of others. And I love that my books can change other people. Like I said, it leaves an indelible mark on people. And when you write something and it leaves that mark on someone, it will leave you stunned. It will leave you speechless.